Fortnite Marvel Zero War 1.
Okay.
And when I said, we can get a second print, but there's no code, this person said...
I don't care.
I just want to read it.
Whoa.
Do you get it? They knew there was no code.
They cared
They
about the
still
comic
want
book
the
story?
book.
That's weird.
They want the comic.
It's a prank. It sounds like a prank.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics. Keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with Patrick Brower and W. Dale Bush.
Suddenly, the app that we use to record, unlinked from Dropbox, I think it must have had an update or something. The logo looks much bigger on it from my side. I can't tell what other changes there might be.
I don't know.
I certainly hope this is recording somewhere.
That would be great.
We will definitely find out when the time comes. And I know the air conditioning is going right now, and I can hear it, and I'm sure you can hear it.
Me, yes, I can.
Yeah, I'm sure the listener can hear it at some level.
Maybe.
But when I left the store, it was 86 degrees in the store.
Oh, God, that's hot.
So I'm leaving the air conditioning on right now
that
because
sounds more than fair.
I would like to have some air conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that it is just about the end of July.
Yeah,
like I really feel
nearly
like
August.
Summer is still getting started. When you go into Target, all the school supply aisles are right there in the front.
God.
That used to be a big deal to me, going school supply shopping.
Yeah.
We could never get the fun branded folders we wanted. It was always just the basic
Sure.
stuff. And I get it. I know absolutely why.
Right.
But, definitely as a child of pop culture, I would want, even now, were I to buy, I would buy branded merchandise whenever possible.
Of course. Yeah. Instead of just like the blank green spiral notebook sort of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's funny because I used to have, you know what? Never mind. There's no reason to talk about how I took notes in high school and college when this is a comics industry business podcast, and it's one of those weeks where it's basically business as usual.
Yeah, we didn't have, to my memory, any signings or special events or anything like that. It was just books arriving and people buying comics and other stuff, and that was sort of the week. Marvel and the PRH order for the week showed up very late on Monday. We're open till 5. It showed up at 5 o'clock. So Molly Jane and I had to stay late to unpack a ton of reorders.
That's hours worth of work. Hours is worth of work.
Yeah, and also the new books for the week, which it was a very large Marvel week. So that took a while. We weren't even able to pull subscriber books until Tuesday, and we usually like to get the PRH stuff done on Monday. And then Tuesday was all the normal stuff, and Wednesday was a decent day, even though it felt a little slow at points.
Yeah.
Just a regular-ish week in comics retail, which is nice. It's nice to not have any weird fires to put out or stuff that we had to sweat over in the store, except for the actual sweat.
Yeah. It probably felt like fires to put out Monday night when you guys were working.
It was a bummer. Having to stay late's never great, and having to stay late to do like the most arduous work for the day is also not great. And then the kind of boredom of the rest of the day, where the hours that you block off to do that stuff, you have to fill with other things. But also, you can't just start working on another project because what you're waiting for is a UPS delivery that could show up at any time. So if you were like, oh, the books haven't shown up at noon or 1 like they normally do, well, I'm going to get started on this huge project. Well, they could show up in 15 minutes. And now you started this project that you have to stop working on, put away, whatever. And hopefully it's something that you can just stop midway through. It's one thing if you know the books aren't coming that day, you can make other arrangements. You can, do other projects. But when you're just waiting for them to show up at a certain point, you're literally just standing around waiting. Like, you can't do anything until the books show up, and there's nothing else you can work on besides that.
I almost feel that by starting a big project, you're making the books arrive.
I tried that. At a point in the day, I'm like, I'm going to start vacuuming, because that's going to be...
Yeah.
That's the surest way to get UPS to show up. It didn't.
Nope.
It did make people show up, but it didn't make UPS show up.
It's funny because last weekend I think I tweeted about how if you ever want people to show up in your store, just start vacuuming.
Mm-hmm.
And there you go.
Yeah.
Because it had happened then as well.
Oh, yeah. I think I was able to get done, like, just the back by the new release section, and then that was it. And then a family came in. The store was not empty again until 5 o'clock when we closed.
And then it was full of new books.
And it was full of boxes of books, new and old.
Today I got in just a little bit early, and there's already a regular waiting out front. And then UPS pulls up, so I, like, rush over to let him in.
Mm-hmm.
And because I did not have any special projects planned for the day, I do have a project in mind. I talked about it last week for the rain and whatnot. I hadn't had a chance to do it because it kind of needs to be when the store is closed.
Yeah.
And it means moving everything out of the front windows, which isn't a ton of work, but it's still stuff, you know?
Especially because the stuff in the window then has to go someplace else, which is why you really need to do it when the store's not open.
Yeah, and I never want to do things late on a Friday because we have this.
Right.
And then we have plans tomorrow night.
Yes. And there's just other stuff going on that makes spending a bunch of hours after work kind of not available.
So I didn't have anything planned. So, of course, UPS shows up right away. First thing.
Of course.
B, 1 box. C, 6 total items in that box.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Did you receive 1 item per hour for 6 hours?
I received none of it because it's new trades for next week.
Oh, yeah, okay. I assume it's all of the non-Marvel stuff.
Correct. You say all of, like that means it's a large quantity.
Well, it just means like the IDW and Random House Graphic and whatever other stuff that we would get from PRH for next week.
We had a Southern Hobby order that came in yesterday that included some new action figures, a whole new Black Panther wave, which is just new figures of everybody they've already put out. And then...
Yeah, same molds, I think just different paint jobs, like a little bit more elaborate.
The Legend of the Black Panther, or Black Panther Legacy, one of those 2 L words. And then also some more McFarlane DC figures, which we ordered like a year and a half ago, but they still just keep coming.
Yep.
But anyway, one of them was Ghostmaker, and I'm like, you know what? This looks pretty cool. I know I'll hate it. I hate all McFarlane figures that I buy. When I take them out of the box, I'm like, these are bad figures.
Well, they're good for like one pose. And if you don't do that one pose, it's just going to look weird.
Yeah, but they're not good to play with. And also, because of his MC Hammer parachute pants, you can't see his knees. I'm like, how do his knees bend?
Yeah.
I didn't even see it until somebody brought it up to buy it.
Uh-huh.
He bought that and Godspeed, not Arkham Knight.
Only the white figures, I guess.
Yeah. So, I'm like, how do those knees even bend? In my head, I'm like, is it just like rubber on the outside, or is there like a hidden? I don't know.
That would be interesting if they gave him like rubber pants.
Yeah.
So the joint was inside.
I gave Gina her birthday present today, and one of those was a Beast Kingdom Hobbs figure from Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm.
She opened it up right away.
Mm-hmm.
The joints on those figures are so smooth.
Yeah.
They're spectacular.
That's great.
It's just like moving a human arm. There's no
That's awesome.
resistance, but they lock in place. There's no clicking.
Wow.
It was such a...
That's very cool.
And it's a highly detailed figure. The bullet magazines come out of the guns.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever handled a Beast Kingdom figure.
They have his skin tone wrong. They made it much darker than The Rock is.
Maybe he had gotten a bad suntan.
But that's what someone said. I think that's what Marcus said. But yeah, really well done figure. I'm like, man, I wish all figures were like this. I mean, it's an expensive figure, but still.
Sure, but that's the thing. Like, when you get a premium figure, you want there to be a sense of like, it's not just a ton of paint apps or like a whole bunch of accessories. You want to feel like the experience of holding the figure, interacting with the toy, is also premium. And yet, I feel like it's always just overcomplicated and fidgety and fragile. You know, like you get these. You have the. I don't even know the name of the manufacturer, but the Hulkbuster that you got.
Yeah, that's 3 something.
Is it 3A?
Maybe not.
Okay, but what it's a giant expensive figure, but it's also hard to move.
Yeah,
and the joints are weird.
And it's fragile.
Well, I have a ton of Kamen Rider Fig Arts from Bandai, and those are, you got to be careful with those. I had a $100-something figure that was trying to switch the hands, sheared the peg right off, and then I just had to glue a hand onto that joint, and I can never move it.
Yep, I've done that before.
Little accessories get lost all the time because they just pop out. Yeah.
Parts of him are glued.
Yeah, so rarely does it feel like when you're spending $60, $70, $80 on an action figure, a 1/12 scale action figure, that it's something other than like a hassle. But you get like a $20, $27 Marvel Legends figure, and you just mess around with it.
Yeah, and you play with it.
You play with it, you pose it, you move it. Like, it's, some of it is just the psychology of like, if this thing breaks,
I'm not out that much.
I don't feel as bad as if I break a $100+ action figure.
And I also have some super glued in place Marvel Legends.
Yeah, and I don't collect Marvel Legends. I get a very small selection of them based on like my own weird idiosyncrasies as far as my superhero fandom. But yeah, it's definitely a different experience. That said, like,
I think you have what, 3?
I have Quasar.
I forgot Gwenpool.
I have Quasar, I have Gwenpool, I have Scott McDaniel Daredevil, I have
the Wolverine.
House of X the Wolverine, and I have Silver Centurion Iron Man. However many that is. I stopped counting on my hands.
5.
Okay. So yeah, I buy figures like that, so I very rarely buy additional figures. If they ever did a, not U.S. Agent, but the Captain figure, I would probably buy that too.
They did in the past.
Have they? Okay. I mean, I don't feel like tracking down an old one. I just mean if they do a new one.
It was
next time we go to Kokomo Toys, I'll look for that.
Okay.
That'll be.
It was the original, Toy Biz figures, not a Marvel Legends.
Oh no, I had. Yeah, I mean, that's why I would get it as a Marvel Legend.
Okay.
Like I had that Toy Biz one, and I loved it
because they just painted over the chainmail.
They did. Yeah.
You could see
it was, and even that one I don't think was the Captain figure. That was a U.S. Agent figure.
Oh, okay.
But like if they did the Captain figure, which I don't even know how you would differentiate that beyond like a more neutral face and maybe like the blank adamantium shield.
Yeah.
Maybe then. But even then, like I'm not looking for a lot of them. That said, if and when they do like a Power Pack set or something, like of course I'm in the bag for that. Like absolutely.
When?
They
could do Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. They could do a mini Power Pack set with a Build-A-Figure Friday. I'm sorry, not Friday. Friday's the
Whitey?
ship. Whitey.
I feel like the reason they've not done a Power Pack set is because they're
saving it for the big movie premiere.
No, it's because they don't have stock body types. They would have to do something from scratch. And they're not... I don't imagine they'd be willing to do that for something as niche as Power Pack. The reason why you get a lot of like the weird...
they
specialty
can just use,
sets that they do.
Herbie and Groot, those figures. That's what those bodies like, right?
They have a Howard the Duck that just put like a jack head on that. The reason why you see a lot of the specialty sets that you do is because they have a lot of stock body pieces that they can very easily throw together, a specific thing for a specific set. But if you have a character that doesn't fit into those pre-established body types, you are probably going to be waiting a long time, probably until there's a movie.
What was Franklin's name? Peekaboo?
Tattletale.
Peep Show?
Tattletale.
Didn't he have like a keyhole as his symbol?
No, it was like an eye with a beam of light coming down from it because he was watching. Because he would go to like an astral form when he fell asleep.
Okay.
And that way he could go and observe things and then report back and be like, here's what's going on with the villains or whatever. So that's the Tattletale name, was because he would be tattling on the people he was watching.
Would you want a Tattletale figure as well in your
Power
Pack set?
I definitely would.
What if they did it but only like Freedom Foundation, Alex Power, Runaways or whatever, not
Excelsior?
What was Julie Power's group about the
like the Loners or something?
The support group that she was in, that comic?
Yeah.
That version, those versions.
Sure. No, I would literally buy any Power Pack action figures that they produced.
There were a lot of possible segues to San Diego toy announcements, but I want to hold off on that because we don't want to talk with toys too much.
Okay.
But there was... so Stephanie Phillips was in today.
Oh, nice.
And she emailed to say, hey, I'm going to swing by in a little bit. I can sign any Grims you have. Mm-hmm. And I meant to respond and say, great, we have a ton of Grimms, but I didn't have a chance to.
Right.
We don't have Grimm.
No, they're all sold out.
Yeah.
Boom announced they're going back to press on issue 3.
Yeah, but...
They never went back to press on issue 2.
But I asked her, she said, no, they already announced the second printing for number 2. And I looked on Diamond just the other day, and I didn't see it. Mm. So we had 3 copies of this week's left.
Okay.
And that's it.
Great.
And I'm like, man, we had A covers, foil B covers, 3 different Jenny covers. Yeah. I mean, we had stacks of these books.
It's a popular book.
I don't remember it being, and we had 0 on the shelf.
Yeah.
Like, so much so that there's not even a card because the card's on the new release wall. Yeah. So it was covered up. Jeez. So it looks like we don't stock it. I'm like, I unpacked these boxes. I swear we had a ton. I'm never going to tell you what we sell for Harley Quinn, but for Grimm, I thought we had a bunch. So she saw the ones we had. Nice. And then I didn't realize that she also wrote this week's Silver Coin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I didn't have her sign those.
Okay.
Yeah, it's...
well, it's nice that she stopped by.
She was with Brian Azzarello. And so I was following them around, pitching stuff to Brian, because he literally wants stuff to read.
Okay.
But I was trying to get Stephanie hooked on things as well, and it wasn't working for her. And at one point, she's like, how's the new Captain America? I'm like, which one? Captain America. Stephanie, there's 2. And I don't know which. Is it Symbol or Sentinel?
Sam's book is Symbol of Truth.
Yeah.
Steve's book is Sentinel of Liberty.
Just call them Sam and Steve. It's so dumb. They're both S words.
I know.
So anyway,
Sam Wilson,
like,
Captain America. Steve Rogers, Captain America. That's it. There's your titles.
So she asked me a question that has no answer. Mm-hmm. How did Sam get a new shield?
I don't think it's been explained.
It hasn't. Steve just said, hey, good to see you back in the suit.
Yeah, when Zero comes out, it's just like...
Yeah, he's back in it.
Sam is Cap again,
There's
and he
no
has a
explanation.
shield.
She's like, how can he have a shield?
The answer to the question is because it's on TV.
Yeah, there you go.
That's how he got a costume and a shield.
That's not even his shield,
because it's on TV. I've mentioned this before, but Marvel Publishing is at a very fun point. And by fun, I mean fun in quotes, like sarcastic fun. Because Marvel published all these interesting stories with their characters in the past, and then the movies adapted that stuff, and then the comics have to then feed that back into their publishing line. So everything is this weird echo of, at this point, mostly 2012 to 2015, where the same stories have to just occur again.
Yeah.
Because now they're relevant in the Disney Plus Marvel Studio stuff. So we suddenly have to have, like, oh, I guess Jane Foster is kind of a Thor again in some subsection of stories, because they just did a movie where Jane Foster's Thor, and it's the same thing with Sam as Captain America, and whatever other random stuff that is going to be going on in the next few months. And that's very weird for the publishing to have to essentially republish its own work in a new iteration.
Pretending as if it's not new.
Which,
I mean, pretending if it's not old. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like,
pretending that it is new.
Just stuff happening all over again with almost no motivation. Like, I wish that Marvel Publishing had any sort of authority within the larger Disney organization to be able to say to Marvel Studios, hey, people can just buy the trade. Like, if anyone's like, Sam Wilson's Captain America? Sure, here's like 3 Sam Wilson Captain America complete collections.
Are they in
Go
print?
read those. I'd rather them print those than do a completely separate book
for sure.
where Sam Wilson is Cap again for no real reason.
At least,
and I like that book, but there's no reason for it.
At least that book feels like a continuation of the other book.
Yeah.
Whereas the Captain America is very different.
You mean the Steve Rogers?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oof.
I did not mean it the way, like, the other Captain America is what I meant to say.
You heard Chris Evans. Sam Wilson is Captain America.
He is Captain America. And I never doubt that.
Mm-hmm.
You know I love the Falcon.
I know you do.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say anything about this, and it's not like some big secret. It's just a thing that I don't know if it's been officially announced, but I guess there's going to be a 30th anniversary celebration for Harley Quinn at Kuma's on September 4th.
That's pretty cool.
Did an order just come in?
Yes.
Dang it. What is it?
3 Avatar omnibuses.
Ugh.
For local pickup.
Yeah, but are you sure?
I mean, they chose, like, literally local pickup,
okay.
not curbside pickup.
Curbside.
So there's no address on here.
Okay, because that keeps happening.
I know.
Even though Dal physically change it to say not free shipping,
all caps,
curbside pickup,
all caps,
which you borrowed from one of our tees.
I did, because that's what they had to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they also got sick of people picking like the zero shipping cost and then sending an angry email. Like, we haven't gotten angry emails because we catch it right away. But I'm sure they would just produce a shirt, leave it there for pickup, and a week later someone's like, "Why hasn't my shirt shipped out yet?" Because you didn't pay for shipping.
Today's person, of the 2 mail orders that came in today, one of them was erroneously curbside pickup, but when I emailed and said, "Hey, if you are not coming to Chicago, we can send you an invoice for the shipping," and he just said, "Ouch." Like, I assumed he meant like, "Ouch, shipping is a lot." Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, talk to the.
You're welcome
US
to add
Postal
more
Service.
to make it more cost effective for you.
Yeah, I also would probably not buy like a $3.99 comic or whatever they bought.
To do a Powerbomb hardcover.
I mean, that's $14.99.
Yeah.
With a 25-cent bag and board.
True.
A lot of other people paid $9.50 to get that thing shipped out.
Yeah. I mean, it's just what it costs,
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue shipping people. It's
No.
just not a thing I want to do.
No, if anybody doesn't want to pay shipping and would rather shop someplace else, they are welcome to do so.
But anyway, there's a Harley Quinn birthday celebration on Sunday, September 4th at Kuma's Corner, and unfortunately, we have plans that day.
Yeah, that's all out in Hoffman Estates.
We won't even be
AEW's
in the
all out.
city.
No.
But I think it's cool they're doing it. I don't know why they're doing it in Chicago, but I'm glad they are.
It's cool. Yeah, I mean, if it were any other day, I'd probably want to pop in and help celebrate, but not if it's AEW All Out.
And eat some Kumas.
Yeah, they're probably not going to have Kumas at the Now Arena. I do like, I think the arena food at Now Arena is pretty good, though.
Okay.
I mean, it's not great, but it's like, I'll fill up.
Good enough. I have no idea where we were. It doesn't matter. Hey, San Diego's happening right now.
It is, this very second.
And so I didn't realize that the Eisner store finalists were announced last week.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point today, we'll find out who this year's
Okay.
Eisner winners are. It's I don't remember all 5 off the top of my head, but it was Cape and Cowl from like Oakland,
Okay.
and Books with Pictures from Portland, and I want to say, I don't know, Pulp something with a number 616 or something like that.
Okay.
And I can't do the other 2. One is like Blackbird.
Okay.
2 of them are coffee shops that do comics.
Yep.
The way you kept saying "okay," I thought you were quizzing me, like you were
I
looking
don't.
at the list.
I don't know what they are. I'm
Well,
not.
good-
I didn't bring.
Good
up a list
luck
or
to
anything.
everybody.
Yeah, I hope whoever wants to win does win.
The only news I know is what Boom has announced as far as their new Power Rangers books.
Yes.
But I don't know if they're doing 2 or just 1. Because right now there's Mighty Morphin and there's Power Rangers.
So they announced 2 books. One of which is a second TMNT Power Rangers crossover.
Yeah, that's a separate miniseries.
with art by Dan Mora.
Oh, okay.
So that's cool.
Well, Once and Future is ending at 30, so he'll have time
guess
to
he'll have time.
add 2 more books to his schedule,
there
I
you
guess.
go. But the Power Rangers franchise for the monthly comics is being handed over to a woman who had previously, and maybe it currently is, basically like the head of Power Rangers, sort of like the chief creative officer basically for Power Rangers content at Hasbro. So she was somebody who was involved in not generating ideas necessarily for the different brands, but collaborating with the people making the comics or the people making the TV shows to make sure that like it matches up with what Hasbro wants out of the Power Rangers brand.
Okay.
And I think she'd been a producer on some of the recent Power Ranger shows since Hasbro has been involved in the ownership. So she'll be writing a monthly comic called Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Just 1 book.
And it starts at issue 1. She starts at 101.
Right. So I don't know if they're renumbering it.
I think it's combined numbering,
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah.
it's legacy numbering.
Right. So yeah, it'll probably be Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 101 comes out the month after.
Yeah.
So that's that. Let's go to some other news. One of the biggest announcements, I think today, and the one that we're probably going to do the best with, is Accept All Cookies.
Well, tell me more about these cookies.
The Popverse website will, I guess, give you cookies, but you have to accept all cookies. You can't pick and choose what flavors you get.
Oh.
Right. You can't just say, like, only chocolate chip. Like, no. Read their privacy policy.
All right.
They're going to give you all the cookies they want. Announced today, Todd McFarlane, Greg Capullo, Batman Spawn.
Whoa.
Yeah, coming out in December 13th.
Holy cow, that's soon.
Which I think because it maybe is being published by DC, that means December 14th? I don't know. They're also re-releasing, for some reason, the less popular of the two 90s Batman Spawn crossovers, the one by Chuck Dixon, Doug Mensch,
and Klaus Janson.
and Alan Grant, and Klaus Janson. They're reprinting that one, but not the Todd McFarlane, Frank Miller one. That's apparently worth a bunch of money because people are excited about Spawn Batman crossovers.
Huh.
But yeah, McFarlane and Capullo are going to be doing it, which
okay.
I think we will do incredibly well with that.
Yeah.
48-page issue.
Store exclusive? Huh?
No. Maybe they'll do a weird 1 in 500 signed cover this time. That was an announcement.
That's actually a thing I had not heard, and that yeah, like you said, that'll do well for us.
Pretty big deal. We'll save the DC stuff to do all at once.
Okay.
Finally announced, officially, the Spider-Man X-Men clone crossover Dark Web is going to be starting up in November.
What do you mean finally announced? This was a thing?
Yeah, it was in the Free Comic Day comic for this year. It's the Madeline Pryor, Ben Reilly team-up book.
Oh, right. Okay. Got ya.
The preview art they showed at San Diego was by Ryan Stegman. It's the series being written by Zeb Wells, but they didn't say exactly who's drawing it, so it might be Stegman, it might just be a cover.
Probably not, because Stegman has that new image book, Vanish, that he and Donny Cates are doing.
But because that was a Substack book, that might have already been done on the side or whatever. Unclear as to exactly how this is being published, whether it's being done as a crossover between specific titles or a completely separate series. Coming out in November. That's a thing. Let's see if we can find something else.
I really wasn't a fan of the new version of Ben Reilly that ended that whole...
Chasm.
Yeah.
Chase 'em.
The whole Spider-Man Beyond storyline.
Yet another nostalgia play from the House of Ideas.
No, the House of 90s Ideas.
Now they're into the 2000s because it's a 5-issue Extreme X-Men limited series by Chris Claremont and Sal LaRocca.
Okay.
It picks up from where the final issue came out back in 2013. It looks exactly like Extreme X-Men, so that's something.
Okay. I was trying to explain to Brian today that most of Marvel's output is just those things.
Yeah, it's really sad. The other thing that you just saw was the... If I can scroll down to it... Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise, a 4-issue limited series written and drawn by Trad Moore.
Yay!
You actually are excited about it, despite that noise.
That was a good yay.
That noise sounds very
tired.
sarcastic. You sound tired.
This is a sarcastic yay. Yay.
A 5-issue limited series called Tiger Division, which is written by Emily Kim, who did the Silk series, and it is characters like White Fox and Luna Snow and a bunch of...
Korean heroes?
Yeah, I mean, South Korean. It's the Defenders of South Korea, so yeah, Korean characters.
Okay, you ready? Yay.
Spider-Man The Lost Hunt, a 5-issue limited series written by
Craven thing, isn't it?
J.M. DeMatteis, with art by Eder Messias.
Is it picking up right where Craven's last hunt ended?
Revealing secrets and answering mysteries Spidey fans have been waiting for. Prepare to explore the depths of what made Craven the Hunter the powerhouse villain he was. As Peter Parker and Mary Jane prepare for their new lives in Portland, a man from Craven's past stalks them.
What?
Who is this mystery man, and what does he want with Spider-Man? Find out when we return to the time period after Spider-Man The Final Adventure, when Peter Parker was powerless. So not only is it a Craven's Last Hunt thing, it's also a when Peter Parker quit being Spider-Man and Ben Reilly was Spider-Man. It's 2 nostalgia plays.
They're going to start doing full miniseries that take place in between panels.
I hope so. Maybe...
I was going to say in between issues, but then I wanted to narrow it down and make it even more unrealistic.
We'll know that they're really screwed when John Byrne comes back for Marvel The Lost Generation 2. Then it's like, oh no, everyone's getting fired. Strange Academy Finals, a new ongoing series coming in October 2022 by Scotty Young and Humberto Ramos.
Well, I didn't realize the other one had stopped.
I guess it had stopped.
Huh.
That's the Marvel announcements from, I think, what sounds like the Marvel Retailer Breakfast.
Oh, okay.
Or Marvel Retailer Panel. And now...
We went to one of those.
We did. They are usually pretty boring, and the breakfast is not very good. A whole bunch of DC stuff.
All right.
And Patrick, this is going to shock you. So,
hold on, let me sit down.
So get your...
Wait, hold on. I'm sitting down.
Get your yay ready.
I'm getting ready. I'm still sitting down. It's a process, okay? You can't rush this. Okay, I'm down.
It's basically
When I
all
sit
Batman
back up
stuff.
again.
It's basically all Batman stuff.
What? Oh my God! Thank you. My own brother just had said that he doesn't read most of the Batman stuff because there's too much of it.
How can you? GCPD, The Blue Wall from John Ridley and Stefano Raffaelli.
Okay.
It's a 6-issue limited series featuring the GCPD.
But so you can't call it Gotham Central?
Apparently not.
Don't you know that putting PD in a title means a lot of people don't want to buy it?
Probably. Punchline returns in a new
DCPD ACAB. Is that what it's called?
Punchline, the Gotham game from Teenie Howard. It's a 6-issue limited series.
Wow, it's the first time it's not
that she's writing with
James
Blake Howard
or
and drawn by
Sam Jones.
Gleb Melnikov
Or
from Robin.
Mags.
So I guess Robin's getting a new artist
One of those two.
or getting canceled.
I do like Gleb Malikoff.
Yeah, Gleb Melnikov is nice, but this is a 6-issue Punchline series, so I don't care. That's that, and let me see what else. Okay, that's all the stuff coming out. I guess maybe it might be in this catalog.
Okay, hold on, because you haven't announced yet a Batman title.
Oh, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Going through the October solicits, where some of this stuff is also landing. We've got the Paul Dano, The Riddler Year 1, 6-issue limited series.
Okay.
With an artist who's never worked in American comics before, so that's cool. A Batman One Bad Day Penguin by John Ridley and Camo.
Okay. I don't know. Do you think people will want them all? Or will they pick and choose?
I think there's going to be a core of people who are going to get all of them, but there's a larger group that's just going to pick around depending on the creative teams. Like, I think the Tom King one is going to sell really great, and some of the other creative teams are maybe not going to sell that well.
Because I had to order the Riddler one, not the Riddler one, the Two-Face one, just yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, especially because we don't know how well people are going to even respond to the Riddler one.
Yeah.
Hopefully they'll be returnable. I don't know. They usually do returnability on one-shots and first issues, but if this is considered an ongoing series, maybe they won't.
DC gave us a preview of 11 pages with no word balloons.
11 unlettered pages of the Riddler issue.
I was talking to another retailer last week, and I said that DC is got a really solid returnability program, and he's like, well, why do you think they're the best? I go, well, look, their program itself, as in strip cover returns and photos, hate it to death. But what I mean is they're offering returnability on
a lot of stuff.
And it's not just once, it's like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, like I think for a bunch of series, if you don't have any data on 2, on 1 when you order 2, 2 is usually returnable. Like the returnability stops at 3 because by that point you have some idea of how the book is selling.
Yeah.
Which is great. I mean, I think it's a great thing for any publisher to offer. And I don't want to say the minimum of what I want, but it's the most helpful thing. Not helpful is The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, a new ongoing series replacing the recently ended James Tynion Joker series. Patrick, since James Tynion has moved on from the Joker book, who's the writer for the new one?
Matthew Rosenberg.
Matthew Rosenberg is going to be writing the book, with art by Carmine Di Giandomenico.
Oh, see, I like Carmine Di Giandomenico.
Backup art by Francesco Francavilla.
Wasn't Carmine Di Giandomenico doing Batman the Night?
Yeah, but that's got to end at some point, right? Isn't it more than halfway done?
Yeah. I think I just ordered the last one.
A new Harley Quinn the animated series.
But wait, didn't Matthew Rosenberg write Joker Puzzle Box?
Yes.
I didn't like that one.
Me neither.
I do like Matthew Rosenberg.
A new Harley Quinn the animated series book, but this one's by Shea Beagle, who did Moonstruck, which I don't like them as much as I like Max Heron.
Yeah.
But I'll probably read it because I did like the last miniseries. A Batman Gotham Knights series, which is a lead-in to the video game that's coming out of the same name. This one's called Batman Gotham Knights Gilded City. And Patrick, here's the best part.
No, does it come with codes?
Each issue will also offer a code for readers to redeem in the Gotham Knights game for an exclusive item.
Can I blow your mind?
For issue 1, readers will receive a code for an exclusive skin variant for the Bat Cycle. Readers who redeem the codes for all 6 issues will receive a special 7th item. Blow my mind.
Did you notice how my socks match my Crocs?
No, it's great.
That's not the blow your mind part.
It's not.
I had a younger reader in today looking for Fortnite, Marvel, Zero War 1.
Okay.
And when I said, we can get a second print, but there's no code, this person said,
I don't care.
I just want to read it.
Whoa.
So we have a special order in the book for it.
Amazing.
Do you get it? They knew there was no code.
They cared
They
about the
still
comic
want
book
the
story?
book.
That's weird.
They want the comic.
It's a prank. It sounds like a prank.
It doesn't... No,
you
that's
should have
not...
made them pay in advance.
I you know what? I should have.
You should have.
And I should have recorded them and had it just so
Put it on TikTok.
When they say, where's the code, it'll be like, you lied to us.
Mm-hmm.
No, Dal, they wanted to read the comic.
The thing about this particular miniseries is that the buzz on the Batman Gotham Knights game is
equal to Fortnite, no matter who they cross over with.
Is very not good. And I don't know that... It's not a Battle Royale game like Fortnite, where getting a cool skin or a spray or whatever is something a ton of people are going to see. Like, it's a co-op game, so, like, the people you're playing with could see it, but I think it's only up to 4 players, including you.
Don't you pretty much just wear what you want for you?
No. So, yeah.
Wait, you're wearing that for me?
I'm wearing it for me.
I just said that. You said no.
So, downloadable content for something like Batman Gotham Knights, I don't know if it's going to have as much appeal. Maybe Gotham City Year 1, a new 6-issue miniseries by Tom King and Phil Hester.
Huh.
Takes place 80 years in Gotham's past. Stars Slam Bradley.
Okay. And I don't know. I was going to say some dumb joke about Batman's past, but I won't.
Nope, 80 years in the past.
Okay.
And
how many issues is it?
6 issues.
Okay. It's already written. They're all written.
I think maybe finally? I don't know. I'm going to keep going. Okay, finally-ish. Batman Incorporated, a new ongoing series by Ed Brisson, spinning off Ghostmaker and his Batman Incorporated team.
Yeah, we knew that was coming.
The all-star creative team of Ed Brisson and John Timms.
I like John Timms. What? So he's off Kal-El then?
I guess.
Huh. Superman comes back now.
Yeah, that's happening in the new
catalog. And he and Steele try to re-envision Metropolis as the world of tomorrow.
I think the only other big DC news that we haven't touched on is the full and accurate title of the currently running Dark Crisis series.
Oh, yeah. As of issue 4, it's now Dark Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yep.
You know what they should have done just to go full Crisis? Use that logo, just put Dark over it.
I think they might... I don't know, maybe they did. I thought I saw something like that.
I saw the logo reveal
Okay.
on a Josh Williamson video.
Oh, okay.
And it's just Dark Crisis, and tiny underneath it says on Infinite Earths.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds
It makes sense if you read the story, and retailers are always saying, it's a publicity stunt, it's not selling, it's not doing that. I think it's doing okay for us.
Yeah, I think it's doing fine. We're not really much of a DC store anymore, whatever that would mean. And we did not really push it very hard because it's not a thing that anyone on staff was really excited about. Curious, maybe, but not excited
I'm
about.
okay with it. You do not like it.
I don't find much entertainment in it. And as someone who, didn't read or maybe even read and didn't enjoy stuff like Justice League Incarnate and whatever the other one was, Dark Crisis being a culmination of those storylines is like, I could not care less.
I agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
I read one of those books and not the other.
Right.
I didn't read Justice League Incarnate, but I read the one before it, and I can't even remember what it's called.
No.
It's very memorable.
Yeah, clearly. So that's the stuff that's been announced so far. Not a lot from Marvel. I don't think any real publishing stuff from Marvel beyond the things I mentioned that do not feel like they are positioned for huge sales. They are very niche-oriented. But otherwise, yeah, not... But San Diego's not really a comics announcement kind of show anymore.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, remember when Boom used to do 30 days of announcements leading up to San Diego?
Yeah.
I bet they could have if they stretched out, like, their new hires and new positions and things like that.
Yeah, we'll see what happens for the rest of the show, but I feel like Batman Spawn is probably going to be the thing that is...
The biggest thing.
Has the most sales potential for the stuff that they're going to announce.
I'll try to look for an image for that.
Some of the other things that have been announced are largely companies like Dynamite picking up Darkwing Duck or Gargoyles or something like that.
Oh, also...
Where there's a little bit of, like, mainstream interest in those properties.
Conan has found a new publishing home.
Conan O'Brien or Conan the Barbarian?
Conan O'Brien the Barbarian.
Okay, good for him.
Titan will be putting out Conan comics.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, but they're also going to be like doing new versions of omnibuses and things.
Everybody does. Once Skybound eventually ends up doing like the Transformers comics, they're going to be reoffering all of the IDW and Marvel stuff, just like IDW re-released all the Marvel stuff.
No one is going to be able to top the amount of times and places Powers has been redone, but they can come close.
I don't know. I think Scarlet and Pearl are getting there.
Yeah.
Who else could republish those books? Every couple years, some new publisher has to put them back out. New trade dress.
It's definitely a point where San Diego is not the stop everything and be glued to your computer for 3 days.
Yeah, I think weirdly,
event.
maybe not weirdly, but sadly, the stuff that we were most excited about on this episode, the stuff that was not putting you to sleep, was like the toy information.
Look, I'm just tired, okay? It's a long day.
Sure, I get it. But as soon as I start talking about, like, hey, let me read you some publishing news, you were fading fast.
I was not. I was yawning a lot. I was not in danger of sleeping. There have been episodes where I legitimately am like, whoa, okay, be up there. This was not that.
But the things that you and I, people in the comics industry, are more excited about in San Diego are, like, trailers for things, new toy announcements, whatever. Like,
okay, look,
that stuff, the
fine.
media aspects.
I tell you this in all sincerity: were I in San Diego right now, I would probably try to buy the San Diego exclusive Brody Lee figure.
Sure.
Am I going to mail order it? No. I have enough Brody Lees. I've got a Luke Harper and 2 Brody Lees. I'm good.
I'm the same way with that Captain Marvel Guru Hero variant.
Yeah.
With Jeff on it. Like, if I was there, I'm a Marvel Unlimited subscriber. I will go there and get my free copy.
Yeah.
If they put it up on their web store or something for $10, I don't know.
I'm waiting for other things to be interested. Like when I was trying to pitch comics to Stephanie and Brian today. But part of our job is knowing your audience. You know, I'm not going to say to Brian Azzarello, oh, are you reading Spider-Man? You know?
Sure.
So I tried to keep it with, do a power bomb. He bought... so, genre question, Crimson Cage.
Yes.
You would put it under what?
Horror or crime.
I would put it under drama.
Oh, no.
Because it's Shakespeare.
Yeah, I mean, it's a supernatural horror thing, kind of, but it's also specifically like kind of a crime story. It's a guy getting away with murder.
Right, but it was in horror.
Horror or crime. I mean, either one of those.
Right. Well, I said drama. Anyway, I did find it.
Okay.
Brian bought that because you had sold him issue 1 a while ago.
Oh, cool.
It's like, are there more? I'm like, it's just done by the trade.
Yeah. Which is $10, so it's...
Yeah.
What's the difference?
But it's like, hey, you know, do a power bomb. 8 billion genies. Public domain. You know, it would have been Crimson Cage, but he was already buying that.
Sure.
Stuff like that. He got both Good Asians.
I was going to say, I mean, Good Asian feels like the most obvious Brian Azzarello book I can think of.
Like, Reckless, already has them. Friday, already has it. Stuff like that. So,
Faithless? Did you show him Faithless? See what he thinks of that.
I told him how by the end of the run we were selling way more of the porn comics.
Yeah.
And he said that they are doing a like $75 all-in-one Faithless.
Yeah.
And it will include all the dirty covers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Yeah, I think. And I said, are they kickstarting it first? And he said, I have nothing to do with that. And I go, I'm not judging.
All right.
Because look, Boom just kickstarted the irredeemable, inconceivable, incorruptible, whatever. What were the 3?
I don't remember.
Inconceivable wasn't one of them. It was incorruptible, irredeemable, and
irreducible.
So
irregardless.
3 oversized hardcovers for those, and they're funding it through Kickstarter, and they made a bunch of money. Great. You know why that doesn't bother me? Those aren't things that we would stock in excess. Those might not be things we order at all.
No, we stopped carrying those trades at some point,
right?
Well before they went out of stock.
Now, if this is the kind of thing that, because it'll eventually be offered in previews, sure it will. Sure. And if we have like 4 or 5 club members that want it, we'll get some for the rack as well.
Sure.
If we have 1 or 2 people, we won't.
No,
because those people are already buying it.
Yeah,
like the pre-orders help to an extent.
They just help communicate how much raw demand there is.
Yeah.
again, if you're saying 1 or 2 pre-orders for something, it's like, well, there's probably a very small audience for it. And if you don't believe in the product, then maybe you just fill your orders and you're done with it. But, you know, if a bunch of people are clamoring for something, well, then it's like, well, how much unspoken demand is out there? Like, that's how I usually order variant covers for stuff from Marvel or DC.
Sure.
Is I look at the pre-order numbers. Like, I can't trust my own values for variant covers, or else, 1, we would not carry a lot of variant covers, and 2, the ones we carry, no one would want to buy, because it would only be stuff that I think looks cool. And the stuff that we've gotten behind for variant covers before have largely not sold.
Sure.
But when I see people suddenly saying, like, I want 4 copies of this one variant for this one book, it's like, well, I'm going to order a bunch for the shelf, because that's a lot of interest in one particular cover for one comic book.
Yeah, so speaking of that, for the Harley Quinn 30th Anniversary Special,
Yes.
there's a lot of covers.
There's a lot of covers for a not cheap book.
And I feel like we have orders for like 75% of them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of onesies and whatever.
Sure.
So here's what I did.
Okay.
Just the A cover, and then some extras of the art germ to get us up to a variant level.
Okay. I might go a little higher on a couple random covers.
But see, that's it. That's why. I'll let you do that at FOC. Yeah. I'm not...
Like, I wouldn't order every cover necessarily. There's a bunch of books that have a ton of covers, and I will just randomly say, no one ordered this, so no, I'm not going to get the Ron Friends cover,
right,
or the random Ryan Stegman cover for a book that doesn't look anything like Ryan Stegman's art.
Fine.
Like,
and
sure.
that was my philosophy as well. There's covers that we don't have any orders for. I'm like, we won't get those for the shelf, right. I assume.
And a lot of books these days that have, you know, a good spread of variant covers and a good spread of orders for those covers, I will do, you know, if it's 6 additional covers, I don't want to stick my neck out, because that's what got us into a lot of trouble with the 80th anniversary variant specials and one-shots
right.
that DC was doing, where you're just like, okay, well, we'll get 6 copies of each cover. Cool, that's like 9 different covers. You've just ordered an additional 54 copies.
Yeah.
For the shelf. Like, can you sell that many? Can you sell 54 additional copies? So what I do nowadays is more like, if one person ordered a variant and we have 6 other covers we got to order, I'll order 3 copies for the shelf.
Okay.
You know, then it's like, maybe we're getting an additional 20 copies or whatever for the shelf, and that's not impossible.
DC books now more than ever have a lot more. They're doing a lot more than just A and B.
Yeah, like
whenever
Dark Crisis has
whenever
like 6
you
or 7
get
covers.
a book that only has an A cover, you're like, they have no faith in this. But like Batman has like 6 or 7 covers each now.
Yeah.
And there's so many. Like, I look at our Batman numbers, I'm like, we are... The regular cover, we're ordering like, the normal amount. But then there's like so many variant covers we're ordering a bunch on.
And it makes it really difficult to do the ordering, because you're always, since there's a fluctuating amount of variant covers, it's difficult to tell how big your readership really is. So when you sell, you know, 120 copies across 4 covers, well, when there's 3 covers the next month, do you order a collective 120 copies, or do you assume that some of those people were only getting specific covers, or doubling or tripling up? So now what do you order for 3 covers instead of 4? Like, the math on that is total guesswork.
I can't remember the book. There was a guy in today, and he's like, do you have 1 or 2 of this book, which I think is up to 4 or 5. I can't remember the title. Mm-hmm. So I go take a look, and I'm like, well, all we have are 2 copies of number 2. No, number 1. I'll take them both. Okay. And it wasn't like a...
Weird.
It wasn't a book that... It's not a spec book, to my knowledge.
Okay.
But just, I'll take them both.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
There's no backer guard, and I have to move things around. And you never... I've long ago stopped thinking, like, people would then spend more money, like, to try something new. No, they wouldn't.
No, they won't.
They're either going to buy the 3 copies of Batman, or if Batman is nothing.
Yeah, if we ever get a phone call for a specific variant, that person's never just going to take whatever we have. They want that specific cover for whatever reason. Collectability or market value or whatever.
To read.
Nope. That's why they asked for a cover and not a comic.
To read.
Nope, that's not it.
Speaking of collectability, Bob sent me a link about a Monster Cereal 4-pack that's like a Sam's Club exclusive.
Okay.
Like for
cereal?
For $7.50, yeah, it's like a package of 4 of the 5 Monster cereals, and to which I said, well, there's no Yummy Mummy, so I'm not buying that.
Is that collectible?
Yeah.
Sounds like it's just edible.
Have you not seen those boxes outside there?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I was just making a segue to tell this story.
That's cool.
but it's only like $7.50 if you're a member. If you're not a member, it's a lot more.
Is it one box with like 4 different compartments?
I believe it is, yes.
Like Nerds boxes have 2 different compartments for the 2 different flavors? Do they do that where it's like...
I'll be honest, I did not click the link.
4
I just
individual
looked at the headline.
wrapped columns, sleeves of different
He was excited
cereals?
because it's Fruit Brute, but I'm like, no, it's not Fruit Brute and Yummy Mummy. But also, I still have memories of when they released all the cereals a few years ago, and they are not my childhood.
No.
They're so different, and...
Yeah, they have to produce them differently now. The stuff that you ate as a child would not pass
Look,
the
okay,
FDA.
a bowl of asbestos and milk was delicious as a child.
And to drink, right on.
I mean, whatever it takes.
Sure.
Because I've watched all of Bake Off, but Bake Off is a good exercise show when you have like, oh, you got like 15 minutes left. Your show's over. You have 15 minutes left.
I feel like it would
Fine, I'll watch
make
some
you
Bake
too
Off.
hungry to keep
I
exercising.
mean, yeah, but then you want to pedal to those things.
Oh, okay.
Lottie, whom I got my sister Karen a cameo for her birthday this year, had put something in the freezer that was incredibly hot, so it defrosted the freezer onto her thing, and she's like, now I have to get all this freezer juice off of it.
Freezer juice.
Good stuff. Also, when I was trying to talk comics with, I was talking comics with Stephanie and Brian, it's hard to like be excited what to look ahead to, because things always seem to go in waves where we had this great wave of we're expecting do a power bomb, I hate this place, 8 billion genius. Now all those are out. Like, all right, well, what are we looking to next? And that's a question David Harper always asks. Like, what are you excited for by the end of the year? And when he asked that this last time, I just said, I'm too burned out to know what's coming out.
Yeah, I mean, my brain is always a blank. I'm sure there's things I'm going to be excited about. I'm sure there's things in the next catalog that I'll be looking at this week that will be very exciting and fun to promote to people. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I literally could not tell you what was in the last catalog you're ordering it now, but I won't do FOCs for a little while. And I sent the email out 3 weeks ago. So it's like, in the meantime, I forgot all of it.
I will say, especially because I did DC and I loaded the Diamond and I loaded PRH. I'm happy to see the numbers of some subscriptions, especially for special orders or one-shots and things.
Yeah.
Because doing it this way, I feel a lot more removed from the process of what people are getting because I'm not physically entering them in.
Sure.
It's not, hey, can you add this for me? People add it themselves.
Right.
So it's not like I'm ordering in a vacuum, but I don't see what those numbers are.
Yeah, through the month. Through the month, you're not clear on like, is anyone pre-ordering anything?
Yeah,
is anyone excited
like,
about any of these books?
Whoa, everybody's really down for this new Daredevil series or whatever. That's a bad example because we transfer numbers over, but
it's true.
It's just hard to find chatter about books from locally, not the internet or places.
Sure.
Because I don't go looking. I don't go looking for that stuff. I go looking for wrestling stuff or toy stuff or metal stuff.
Sure.
But that's what I do in my own free time.
Yeah. I think that's fair.
It's just harder to keep on top of things. And I asked Brian if he feels disconnected from monthly comics.
Yeah.
I will not give his answer because that was a private conversation.
I see.
I'll tell the listeners. I just don't want you to know.
The topic wasn't private, but the conversation was private.
Can you do earmuffs?
Yes.
You're not doing it.
They don't know that.
No, I don't want you to hear. That's the whole point. No, I'm not doing that. Forget it. Forget it. I know you can still hear me. Trying to eavesdrop on my personal, private conversation with all 5 of our listeners. How dare you? Now you're looking at me as if I'm trying to stretch for time because we're running out of things to talk about.
Oh, but we ran out of things to talk about.
We did.
Yeah,
we did.
All I really had was like publishing news, and that was all very dull. Very dull.
No, I've not heard anything from any police departments about my comics, and I don't know that I will. And I should just write my own ending to this story. But I feel that it'd be a lot of murder.
Oh, no.
A lot of murder.
Oh, no.
Which goes against what the comics are all about. So really...
It's true.
There isn't that. There was another stealth Shopify update this week, but it was a thing that we don't hate. You know, the add to cart, like the buttons don't go away?
It's true.
Yeah.
I think we talked about that last time, though.
Did we?
I think we did.
Was it last week?
I think we did.
I can't remember. Oh. Well, we definitely should end it then. Did you read Superman Space Age yet?
I actually did. Yeah, I did right before this podcast. It very much is Superman life story.
Okay.
Very much.
Because I was trying to impress that to you this week. You're like, I don't think so. And I couldn't defend it because I hadn't read it.
Yeah, I didn't really get that feeling from the solicitext, but it is like Lois Lane is in a jail cell with John Lewis. The Kennedy assassination is a big part of the story.
Yeah.
Like, it's a lot of world events from the 1960s. The Beatles get mentioned. Like, it's that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Where it is very much Superman and the rest of the DC universe existing in the 1960s because of the events of, you know, the world in 1960s. It's okay. Allred's art is great. It's just fun to see him draw all those different characters.
Yeah.
Mark Russell's story is interesting, but it gets bogged down in some of the historical details. It gets a little too reverent for certain things. And you're just like, have fun with this.
Did you finish
or make it dramatic. Don't just make it, like, didactic. Don't make it, you know, something where I'm being lectured to.
Did you finish his Fantastic Four life story?
No.
Okay.
Because same thing. Like, I got a couple issues in. I'm like, this is not fun. I read DC Mech as well.
Yeah.
Which I thought had an interesting premise in the same way that Jurassic League does, where it's like Justice League, but they're all giant. They pilot giant robots.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the art very much.
Yeah, the art was very, not manga-y, but weirdly curvy. Like, everybody was bending weird.
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely trying to do, like, speed lines and that sort of exaggerated motion stuff, but they also didn't do... Like, they had a tough time with, like, scale and backgrounds, and the only way giant robots work is if you do a ton of detail to sell the scale of them.
Okay, so I read DC Mech. I thought it was pretty fun, but I didn't get it until halfway through the book that they were giant mechs. I thought they were just, like, Hulkbuster armor size.
Yeah, no, they're supposed to be as big as, like, buildings.
Yeah, fine. I got that halfway through, but then you're right. The scale's wrong because when, like, you see Batman in a mech standing next to a building, like, well, he should be like an ant.
Yeah, it's the thing of, like, look at any Ultraman or Godzilla or whatever. Like, you shoot from the ground up to sell, you know, how massive these creatures are. When you're shooting from above...
And looking down, it really shrinks them all.
Yeah, they all look like they're 6 feet tall. Like, it doesn't work. Especially when the only things on the panel are giant robots and nondescript buildings. Like, it just doesn't work. So, yeah, the art, not my favorite. I think the concept is still strong, and, you know, if you're a big enough fan of giant robots, I think it's worth checking out. But, yeah, I was a little let down by the execution.
Yeah, but I still thought the story was fun.
Space Age, though, that's worth checking out.
Yeah.
The writing is not my favorite, but it's... people are only going to be buying it because of the Allreds, and they kill on it. Like, they do a really great job.
Yeah, I mean, no offense to Mark Russell.
Right.
He's done a lot of really good work and will again, but the Allreds are definitely the draw for this.
Yes.
Get it? Draw?
I do get it.
I didn't mean that as I said it.
I do get it.
That's it. That pun was too bad. It wasn't even a pun. I didn't mean to say it. But I do mean to say this. Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.